So glad you could be with us while we're looking at God's Word and a bunch of people that ate bread and haven't figured out eternity yet. And he's still talking to them. And it says, he said these things in the synagogue while he taught in Capernaum. That was the other side of the Sea of Galilee. Starting with verse 59 of chapter 6. And therefore many of the disciples, when they heard this, they were shallow disciples following him around. They said, this is a difficult statement. Who can listen to it? Jesus, conscious that his disciples grumbled at this, he said to them, does this cause you to stumble? Now remember when we talked about grumbling before, that we're talking about the grumbling of unbelief. So they weren't saying this is hard to understand. They were saying this is hard to accept. We're not really ready to buy into this. Okay, and so he says, does this cause you to stumble? You're going to just go away? Then he said, what then if you see the Son of Man ascending where he was before? You know what he's saying by that? You ate and got your belly full, all of you, from one little kid's lunch. You saw a miraculous sign that proves that I'm the Christ. And then we come to the other side of the Sea of Galilee and you go, what sign will you show us? And so by this statement, he's saying, if you see the Son of Man ascending where he was before, that still wouldn't be enough for you. Unbelief never has enough proof. So then he explains himself. He says, it's the Spirit that gives life, the flesh profits nothing, and the words that I've spoken to you are spirit and are life. In other words, I'm speaking to you in spiritual terms, but you don't get it. And the reason you don't get it, please don't miss this. The reason you don't get it is because you haven't taken step one. Step one is to believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God. And until you do that, you will not receive the Spirit of Christ in your life to help you understand spiritual truth. Step number one, remember, they said, what do we do that will work the works of God? That's way back in verse 29 or 28. And Jesus said, this is the work of God, that you believe on him whom he sent. Step number one is place your faith in Jesus Christ. Believe that he's really the Christ, the Son of the living God, and put your trust in him. And remember also, back in verse 36, he says, you've seen me, but you don't believe. Well, what did they see? They saw a miraculous sign on his part. And it says that they were disciples, so they had been following him around and had seen other things. Okay? So, if you're really going to understand the Bible, you got to come to Jesus. And until you come to Jesus, it's not going to make sense. Listen to what Paul says to the Corinthians in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 12 through 14. We, speaking of believers, have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God, so that we may know the things freely given to us by God, which things we also speak, not in words taught by human wisdom, but in those taught by the Spirit, combining spiritual thoughts with spiritual words. But a natural man, who's that? Somebody who doesn't have Jesus. A natural man does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness to him, and he cannot understand them, because they are spiritually appraised. Yep. And yet there are a lot of people who don't come to Jesus because there are things that just don't make sense. Well, they ain't going to make sense until you do step number one. Come to Christ. Then God's Word is going to start to make sense to you. Have a good day.